Do, do, do. Good morning, world. I hope we all are having a great day today. Ooh, ooh, doo, ooh, 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 ooh. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Get that wait going. Wait some more. Good morning, Gayla. I hope you had a terrific week. Glad you could be here with us this morning. Bonnie. Good morning, Bonnie. Hey, y'all. Raining here in Virginia. Raining in y'all, Virginia. Ivory Lady, good morning to both of you. I hope you had a terrific week. Gemma, Kitty Q. Can't stay. I'm at archery tournament. I'll rewatch. Well, have fun at the archery tournament. I'm guessing it's for one of your children, not for yourself. I think we would hope to have learned if Kitty Q's into archery herself. But have a terrific day either way. Well, at least I'm sorry it's raining in Virginia, Bonnie, but it's not raining here today. Today's one of the rare days this week where it's not raining. I mean, not locally. We don't get a whole lot of rain here. When we do, it's kind of like a misty rain. We don't ever get like real downpours or anything like that. Occasionally, maybe 2 or 3 a year, if that. But I live in a high desert plateau. Dream Skater. That looks like Rupel. Good morning and welcome to this morning's stream. Francie, good morning. Pippadot, good morning. Good morning to everyone. So is everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving? If you're doing anything for it, I hope that if you do gather with friends and family or whatever, I hope you enjoy your time. If you're not, come hang out with us because on Thanksgiving I'm going to do a live stream, special live stream on Thanksgiving itself. Not at the normal time, but at 6 p.m. So that'd be 9 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. Oh, I remember you, sweetheart. I still look for your emails. I see them pop up in my thing, every once in a while. But I hope you're doing well. Changed my handle, and I can't change it back. I'll fire you off an email. I'll tell you how to change your actual name. After this stream, I'll send you an email step by step on how to do it. It's YouTube. They have a way of doing this to a lot of people. I mean, like you'll see a number after some people's names or a number in a hyphen. You buy groceries for 6 people, Will? 5 adults and your son? No, Bonnie, we're having 15 to 18 people here for Thanksgiving. 15 to 18. So I've got 2 turkeys, 2 hams, that I'm cooking. I'm smoking one ham, um, and then the other one's just going to be baked with brown sugar and pineapple and like a demi glaze that it'll be served with. But yeah, there's 15 to 18. So I actually start tomorrow on prepping everything for Thanksgiving. I got to start making pies and everything else and getting all the stock and all that stuff ready starting tomorrow. On a weekly basis, you buy groceries for 6 people, Will? Yes. Every week. My grocery bill is around 350 to 375 every week. But let's get this morning's recap show going here. This is page 2 news. Now with 2.35% more hip control and less wedgies. This morning's show is a crime recap strictly adhered to the verified factual evidence and all information presented by the sources from reputable agencies such as the FBI, DOJ, and when applicable, Interpol and Scotland Yard. We do not engage in the conspiracy theory, speculations, or unverified claims about what may have occurred. If you are looking for that type of content, this program will not be the right fit for you. Thank you for your understanding and have a great day. It is 100% free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the button down below the screen that you're watching on. You'll see a white box there that says subscribe. If you click on that, you'll be subscribed. It's 100% free to learn new facts about criminals and 100% free to be part of this community. I might be biased, but I believe I have the best YouTube community out there. I don't know of anyone who has a better one. So, and it's also 100% free to play trivia on every Sunday. So, what is your reason not to subscribe? I cover the hitting stories, breaking news, and I bring it all to you without, my view or interjection into it. Give you the facts that you need to know. Thank you for the last week's shout out to Gemma for the super chat. Bizarre, strange, and even more stories you forgot about or missed. To kill can be a passion. It can also be a curse. Mostly fun, though. Kevin Lino, age 38, is already behind bars after being convicted of killing 2 men in 2012 and 2014, says prosecutors. A Massachusetts man convicted of murder more than a decade ago and recently accused of killing 2 others is being labeled as a serial killer by authorities. Kevin Lino, 38, of Lowell, is already serving time for murders in Norman, in Boston in 2012, of Jack Gilbert Berry in Missouri, Montana in 2014, Boston 25, news reports. In August, Lino, who, like Berry, was experiencing homelessness, was charged with the murder in connection with the deaths of 2 men experiencing homelessness in Massachusetts. The Middlesex District Attorney's Office said in a statement, Mr. Lino is a serial killer, District Attorney Marion Ryan told Boston 25 News. The Department of Justice defines a serial killer as someone who has taken the life of 2 individuals in separate situations. In this case, we already have convictions in 2. We now brought charges in 2 more. More to this story about Kevin Lino. They believe at this point they've charged him with 2 additional. That would bring it, if he's convicted of it, to 4 murders. But on top of that, he is connected to the disappearance of at least 6 other individuals They don't know if those individuals are alive or dead. They're just listed as missing. The additional 6 that he is connected to, and by connection, I mean he had personal contact with those 6. All 6 of them are missing and have not turned up since the last date, that they were seen, and they were seen either with him or with one of his associates that he murdered. Of those 6, 3 of them are women and 3 are men. Of those 6 that are he's connected to. So if he is connected to all the others, that would bring his murder count to 10. But Kevin Lino of Boston, Mass, may very well be an unknown previous serial killer. Would you like some candy? Is the next story. Nobody knows where the bodies are, Bonnie. And the 2 that they just connected them to, they just recently found their remains, their skeletal remains. A man who hatched a plot to poison Jewish children with candy given out by Santa pleads guilty. A neo-Nazi named Commander Butcher, who recruited others to hand out poison candy to Jewish children in New York, pled guilty to soliciting hate crimes. Mikhail, whatever how you pronounce that name, a Georgian national, was a leader of a manic murder cult, an extremist group, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York said. In June of 2022, prosecutors said, you try to pronounce that name, traveled to Brooklyn. That July, he encouraged others using the encrypted message app Telegram to commit hate crimes on behalf of the manic murder cult. However you pronounce his name again, had begun distributing a manifesto in 2001 called The Hater's Handbook to cult members and others. The murder handbook that he had made, he printed them out at Kinko's copier center. The total manifesto, which there's a couple of pictures on the DOJ's website. You might be able to find them online because they were photographed as part of the news story when the initial reporter interviewed the individual, the agent from the DOJ. But the manifesto looks like it probably has about 20 pages total in it. It's not a really thick, manifesto. We're guessing, if by looking at the picture, you could probably say each side was copied. So maybe 10 pages total plus the cover and the back. So not a really big manifesto, but he handed them out. Next story is court records reveal new details about Michael Vaughn's disappearance as suspects appear in court. That is Monkey, aka Monkey Vaughn, the little boy who vanished. Newly released court records revealed that Stacy Wandra told investigators his wife and 2 roommates abducted Michael Vaughn with plans to sell him for money. Yes, you got that correct. They planned to sell him. According to the initial report, was for as much as $10,000. They kidnapped the little boy for $10,000. Fruitland, Idaho. Court records were released Monday detail the alleged involvement of 4 people of interest in the disappearance of Michael Vaughn, including claims that the missing boy was abducted, killed, and buried in Fruitland backyard. A probable cause affidavit filed in June was unsealed by Stacy after Stacy Wander appeared in court on November 17th. The document outlined search interviews, evidence gathered following the boy's disappearance. During the initial searches of approximately 300 homes, police say canine units tracked Vaughn's scent to a resident where Stacy Wandera and his wife Sarah Wandera And their two roommates, Brandon Sheriff and Adrian Lucien, live. All four individuals have previously been named people of interest in the boy's disappearance. According to the affidavit, one neighbor reported to police that they saw Vaughn riding a tricycle in the neighborhood the day he disappeared. Another reported seeing the boy, the same tricycle at the Wanderer home during a garage sale months before Vaughn's disappearance. The Wanderers initially denied any involvement in the case. However, in November of 2022, Stacy requested a meeting with investigators, according to the affidavit. If you look at and see, and I please, viewer discretion advised, I'm not going to put it on here, but there is ring cam footage and CCTV footage of Michael Vaughn going door to door. He's clearly looking for someone to play with on that day, and even as much I'll correct myself in that I initially believed that someone had picked him up and over the chain link fence, which is only like a 4-foot chain link fence in the backyard, but and then had taken him because that's the last place that anyone had seen him from the family was in the backyard. But it does appear that he pushed out his way underneath the fence itself and wanted to find someone else to play with, and that's how the Wanderers got a hold of him. But that's what the CCTV and the ring cam footage shows, is him going door to door. But anyways, either way, the initial search led to the Wanderer home, where Michael was originally buried in the backyard. According to the confession interview, that with involving Stacy. Stacy said that they originally duct taped his mouth and then shoved him into a duffel bag and had planned on bringing him, depending upon who you believe, if you believe her statement at all, to the grandmother's house. And but they duct taped him and he died. He suffocated because he couldn't breathe inside of the bag. Accidental? Was it on purpose? Did they really plan on selling him for $10,000? I mean, all of this is up in the air, and as to what one person has said so far. What we do know for sure is that Michael Monkey Vaughn, who will go down in history as Monkey, because that was his nickname, Monkey. Monkey, was taken from this world way too soon. And these people are monsters. All four of them knew of the events, were there that day, and they all deserve to rot in jail forever. Because there's a special place in hell for people like them. That's it for this week. Just the 3 quick cases. Now, again, earlier I mentioned that on Thanksgiving, I'm doing a special live stream on Thanksgiving. For anyone out there that maybe you don't have anybody to gather with, or maybe, by the time that I'm offering the live stream on Thanksgiving, you'll have nothing to do. Or maybe you like to sit down and turn it on the TV and play along with your friends and family. That the largest growing audience I have is people who are watching, my live streams on a television. So on Thanksgiving, I'm doing Holiday Feud. Why families secretly dread Hollywood holiday gatherings. That is on Thanksgiving. Now, normally I do like Sundays, at 4, but on Thanksgiving it is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 9 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. Why am I doing it later? Is One, because I'm having family and friends over gathering for Thanksgiving, and we're serving dinner at 4. I have to have everything ready by 4. So I can't have the stream exactly at 4, and then be serving dinner to 15 to 18 people on Thanksgiving. Plus, and maybe you're eating, or gathering with friends and family, and you'll be done by, if it's 6 p.m. on the Pacific Coast time or 9 o'clock on the Eastern time zone. But the entire thing is kind of being done like Family Pursuit, in that guard. I'm going to put the top 7 answers on the board, like Family, Feud, in that regard. And you don't have to come up with all 7 answers. You're just going to guess and try to figure out what the number one answer is for each and every question. So you don't have to, again, I can't stress this enough because I know there's going to be people who are going to, in the comment section, they're going to be like, bing, 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 bing. They're going to nail, you try as fast as they can, guess 7 different things because there's 7. Some of them have 7, some of them have top 5. You're only trying to come up with one answer, just the number one answer. And that's it. But again, that's on Thursday, on Thanksgiving here in America. I know Canada has a different day. They celebrate Thanksgiving. So does the UK. But here in America, we celebrate it this coming Thursday. So I hope everyone can tune in because I put the poll out there. If I was and asked if I did it, how many people would be interested? If we get just a fraction of the people who say, when I say fraction, I'm like 10%. If we get 10% of the people who show up, that said that they would love if I do it, we should have 30 to 40 people who are here for trivia night, for that Thursday trivia. And that would be great. I would love to have 30 or 40 people involved in the Thanksgiving, trivia night. So I hope that they show up. If not, you can bet your last dollar if nobody shows up, or I get like 2% of the people who said that they would do it, that they would love for me to do it. I'm not going to do another one, not a special, event like that. I'm taking time out of my life to help you and entertain you. So, and yes, I say help in that context because several people gave me suggestions on, can you have questions about this over this? This would help and make me so I can understand, so I don't feel alone in these issues. So, and I've went out of my way and spent months researching these things. So, hope they show up. Show up. Show up. Please show up. You can't be your true self with your family? Bonnie, I'll watch twice, she says. Well, thank you, Bonnie. Tune into as many devices as you can. Should be able to join. Hubby won't be home until 7:30. By the way, there are only 15 questions on the Thursday night special, the holiday feud. There's only 15 questions. There's not 20 questions. There's no 7-minute break in between it all. It is just strictly just the Family Feud style, trivia questions. That's it. Dread family gatherings. Due to your autism, I have to mask to fit in. I'm sorry about that, sweetheart. And I'm truly sorry that you feel like you can't be yourself around your family. You need to find a safe place. Find others, on the spectrum. I'm sure there's other people in your housing community who are on the spectrum as well. Maybe they don't have anyone to gather with, and maybe do something. If not on Thanksgiving, maybe like a what my wife and her, her friends do. And this is something that my son also does too, with his best friend who's on the spectrum. Is they have what's called a friend Thanksgiving. It's just friends who gather. Maybe they just one person brings a pie, another person brings the whipped cream, or whatever, and they just sit around and they talk. They share, what they want to about their lives and where things are going. Just try to remember, even in the UK, you have to remember, try to keep politics out of the conversation and limit alcohol consumption for everyone, because that's when things always seem to turn awry. They take a turn to the wrong direction. Friendsgiving, yep, it's a great idea. We're trying to get another family to come over for dessert, on Thanksgiving. But we're not sure. But tomorrow I start prepping all the stuff that for pies. I'm making 8 pumpkin pies tomorrow. I'm starting it. Uh, I don't make pumpkin pie from the stuff in a can. All of it's from fresh pumpkins. So it takes a lot of work to make pumpkin pie. It's not like, you take it out of a can, dump it in a blender, and then add sugar to it and stuff. But no, these are pumpkin pies made from scratch. Don't drink alcohol, as it does not agree with me. Well, that's a good thing. Alcohol is not for everyone. In fact, Gemma, alcohol is not for a large portion of society. And there are certain ethnical groups out there that should never drink. And I say that because those who are, there are certain ethnicities like Native Americans out there who never should touch alcohol because they are very susceptible to becoming, addicted to it, and it affects their bodies in different ways than the person next to them who's not Native American. So we don't allow liquor in my house, only a little wine or beer. Do you have to refrigerate all those pies? I do, Bonnie. So tomorrow I'll start. I've already start. I've already cut up and carved out all the innards of the pumpkins. Now I have to take the husk off them, and then I'm going to roast those, the actual parts of the pumpkin itself, the inner meat, if you will, of the pumpkin. And then after I'm done with that, I'll cut them up into cubes, and then I put them through the blender. Actually, I put them through the food processor first, then the blender. But the food processor just brings it down into a much more consistent, better consistency to go into the mixer. And then to make the actual pie itself, it's evaporated milk, nutmeg, cinnamon, brown sugar, salt, just a pinch of salt, not a whole lot. Try to keep the sodium out of it because I've got a lot of people who are going to be eating it who can't take salt. And let's see, all right, go back. The pumpkin mix that I make, evaporated milk, sugar, brown sugar, nutmeg. I'm missing something here. I'm trying to picture that I have my recipe cards. I'm trying to think of what else is on the front side. Sugar, egg, and then flip the card over. And then after, so cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander, and salt. That's the only seasonings that are in it. People love them. So one time a year that I actually make desserts, and I might have a slice. I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie or desserts or sweets, so I might have one slice, one small slice. But yeah, after I make them all, they all have to be refrigerated. But I won't actually start baking them until say probably Tuesday. I'll start baking and making the actual pies. Got to make there's a whole process of making the crust too. I don't buy like store bought frozen, crust. I make the crust myself, so that's a whole nother process. And then I have probably a dozen different of those Pyrex pie plates, and that's what I make them in. But I'll make them up probably Wednesday and start baking them Wednesday. And I try to make them in batches of um, four, but only two go in the oven at a time because that otherwise it reduces and fluctuates the oven temperature too much. Because then I have to rotate them from top to bottom. And there's a whole system to it that I have. It's just me. I was around thousands of intoxicated people during my career. It's usually caused problems for most people, including their health. Oh yeah, I can understand that, Gayla. I like it fun, relaxing. I sure hope you're doing well, Rupal. I miss you. I really do. I hope everything in your life is working out for the best. Because you had a pretty raw deal there for a while. Loss is never easy to get over, especially during those certain times of the year, like the holidays or around birthdays or anniversaries. Times when you really even if you don't try not to, you start to think back on what might have been. You know, and losing a parent is always hard. Always hard. Roast it. I thought maybe boil. Nope. Oh, I have the my oven is I it's got two shelves and it's just a regular convection oven. It's like it's done with convection. But I also put a little pan down underneath the pies on the next shelf down with about an inch of water to help keep the humidity up while I'm roasting the actual the meat of the pumpkins themselves. Thank you. Please do, Rupal. But nope, 250 degrees. And there, I can't tell you how long I roast them. It's usually half hour, 40 minutes. But I have to turn them in the pan again. All right, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of me. I buy a lot of let's just say these are kitchen items from my youth that I go out of my way to collect. And I use this stuff. It's not like I'm buying it just to hoard it. But you can't the stuff that they sell out there today, a vast majority of it is absolute junk. It's going to fall apart and then you're going to end up filling the landfill with it all. Pyrex and Anchor Hawking, glassware, cooking, dishes, and be it either pieware or a cake pan. That stuff will outlive everyone. And when I can find that stuff, I buy it. I see it at yard sales. I'm like, I snag it up. And people are like, well, we thought you were going to grab the tools or, over here in the sporting goods stuff, but you're grabbing all the pieware or measuring cups, containers that are made by Tupperware. But they got to be, the 1960s, 1970s colors for Tupperware. I want that bright ass orange. I want the neon yellow or that putrid freaking green Tupperware. That's the stuff I want because that stuff will last forever. And unfortunately, Tupperware is gone. They're out of business. Because in today's society, people don't care about, well, this bowl is $16. I can buy 12 of them at Walmart, for $1.35. Why would I want to spend $12 for this? Because this $12 plastic bowl from Tupperware, and 300 generations from now, that bowl will still work. The lid, you may have lost the lid by then. Actually, you probably lost it within 6 months of you actually getting the bowl. But anyways, it still will last. It'll still work. It'll still be functional. Over here, not so much. You might get 6 months, 8 months out of it, but that's the world we live in. Disposable culture. They're like, I can buy it and I can use it, and that it fits my purpose now. And if it breaks, I'll go buy another one. That's insane to me. Smoked ham, you make sound amazing. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I have an Indian smoker. That's the name of the brand. The brand is called Indian Smoker. It's an Indian Smoker 420. My friend freaking wrote with a purple marker on there 420. If you get the reference there, you get it. But anyways, but I have got a little burner in the bottom that I can put the chips in, slow smoke it. I do everything from cheese to fish to the ham. It is the one that I'm smoking is a leg in, the bone in ham, so it'll keep it more moist. Good. I'm finally motivated and back to making content on my channel. I look forward to it, sweetheart. I'm coming out of it, but it wasn't just the losses. It's hard, but I'll look forward to your email, Rupal. Well, I make the pumpkin pies. My mother-in-law will make the cherry pie, apple, and she's only making, I think, 3 of each, 3 apple and 3 cherry pies. And then she makes all of the rolls. She makes white rolls and then she makes wheat rolls, and she makes them all from scratch. So she'll start probably tomorrow, getting everything ready. She knows she doesn't go out and actually cut down the wheat. She buys the flour dough and stuff like that from a retail location, grocery store. But I think she uses red mill for the whole wheat because it's got less binding agents in it. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that is they put that stuff in everything. That silica sand, it's in everything. So many things that they don't want to clump up, they put silica in. Next time you're at the grocery store and you're buying something that like a powdered cheese, like Parmesan cheese that you would shake on your pasta, look at the ingredients on there. There's silica sand in there. That's just the first place you'll find it. You'll find silica in your loaf of bread. You'll find it, even in pasta shells, like regular pasta in a box. Especially if it's fresh pasta in a package that's been vacuum sealed, you'll find silica in it. It's in everything. It's just like high fructose corn syrup. You wouldn't think that you need to put high fructose corn syrup in a million different products, but it is because it's cheaper than sugar. It's way cheaper than honey. It's way cheaper than stevia, or anything else. Love cherry pie. I may have to go get one from the local store. I'm not. I'm like, on cherry pie. I look forward to my mother-in-law's apple pie though. She makes a pretty good apple pie. She uses I think they're golden delicious apples. She gets them from a local farmer. Yeah, we live. I mean, it around us. If it's not desert, because we live in a high plateau desert. If it's not the desert around us, it's apple orchards. They're everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Tesco, Tesco grocery. How do you pronounce that? Aceta, or is that like Aldi's? Cherry pie. A couple songs about that. Uh, yeah. So I do the pumpkin pie, and the hams, turkeys, couple of side dishes. My mother-in-law makes the rolls, and she makes the apple and the cherry. My sister will bring beverages. Mitchell, well, I don't know what Mitchell's bringing besides themselves. I don't know what my daughter has planned either. What they're bringing. That these are things we have to like kind of like nail down, here shortly. Because the closer it gets to the holiday itself, people start to, lose their stupid minds in the grocery stores, and they act like their heads screwed on backwards. But that happens every year. And then I feel bad for like Reichardt, out there on the roads of America. And these people are out there driving like freaking morons. I've seen more car accidents in the last like month than I did have all year. There's nothing wrong with the roads. Just people just not paying attention. Their minds are so they're thinking about that okay, I got to get to the store, I got to get home. Then they don't even think about they're not thinking about the moment right there in front of them. But it gets worse as they're closer and closer to the holidays, and then people build up in their minds that is everything's got to be perfect. They got to have the perfect setting and decorations, and they have to make sure that the food's great. And that they build up all this stress. You know, if I went and got a bunch of Hungry Man TV dinners and served that to everybody, everybody would still be happy to a point, but they would still eat it. And then, but it's more of a gathering for us, to just to be here and for each other's company, and that's what's important. Don't build it up into be something more than it has to be. Owned by Walmart, but it's the UK sister store. Okay, yeah, it was kind of funny. I didn't see it that way, Rupel. When he told that reporter that quiet piggy, I looked at it as more of a demeaning, um, misogynistic comment because he wasn't meaning quiet piggy as in be quiet because it was a pig, an actual pig on the ground in the Air Force One. going oink oink. But he says things like that all the time. Politicians say stupid things like that all the time on both sides of the aisle. So I'm not just picking on him. But in this context, we're talking about him telling a reporter, "Quiet, piggy." You know, it's like when he wants to pull the FCC license of certain news broadcast stations altogether, not just a local affiliate that is still running Jimmy Kimmel, and or trying to get him fired again, or Seth Meyer. Just she called them both out on social media this past week, but it's insane when someone at the top tries to silence media. You all need to be worried. I don't care if you're on what side of the aisle you're on. You need to be worried because without the free speech and right to um, tell your view, your take on it, you don't have to listen to it. You don't even have to believe it. You can call it fake news if you want, but you have to have the ability of someone to report on what's happening. Support that view or don't, but you don't take away their license and shut them down and then jail them or call for the death of them because they have an opposite opinion of you or opposite political view of you. That's where we're at, though. Kind of insane, but nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to roll over and be quiet about it. I see things that are blatant lies. I'll call them out. I don't care. I don't care if it's Mitch McConnell or Donald Trump or Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, by the way, sorry to all her her constituents, but she's turned in her letter of resignation. She's going to be leaving the political office after getting in her little spite with Trump over the Epstein files. But who's going to take her place? I don't know. It could be someone even more wackier than her. You never know. That's the deal you make. You don't like the person who's in power now, but what's the next person going to be like? They may seem sane right now, and then tomorrow, you find out that they're killing their dog, in a rock quarry because they couldn't be bothered to pay $75 for someone to come and train the dog. You can find out that. Or it could be someone even crazier than that. You never know. Anyone see the story about the young female aide who staged an assault up in New Jersey? No, I did not. Got to go to a birthday party tonight, but on goes the social mask. Have fun. Have fun, sweetheart. Yeah, that's the one thing that we always have been very supportive of, with my son is be yourself. I mean, obviously, he's 9, he's kind of a nut, but because 9-year-olds are, he may say things or do things that are inappropriate, but we don't want him to ever, not be himself. And if he feels unsafe, or if he feels like he's being overwhelmed by the social situation, and he gets that way, loud noises, flashing lights, too many people, it overwhelms him, and we always give him the right to say enough is enough, and be able to walk away and pick the situations that he wants to be involved in. And everybody should be the same way. Don't go hang out at your in-laws, on Thanksgiving, or your friend's house or someone else's house. Don't do it just because you feel obligated. You have to. Go make an appearance. Show up. Don't give them an excuse why you have to leave early. Just say, look, I'm going to stay for a little bit, but I get overwhelmed, and then let it be. Let it be at that. Hang out for as long as you can or you want to be, and then leave. You have control of yourself and be happy. Life is way too short to be miserable. Will, you see my chat above Reed Piggy thing? I didn't agree or laughed with him. No, I saw it. I saw what you had to say, Rupel. I mean, I'm not. You can find it funny. Other people definitely found it funny, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying I took it in a different context than you did or other people did, and it's not right or wrong. I mean, some people see some of the crazy, shit that he says, and it's just absolutely laughable. But other people take it, what he is clearly meaning, as a joke, like he's never going to be able to get done, or say he wants done. He's never going to get those things. But people, they're like, oh my God, he's really going to do it. He's going to do that. And they work themselves up over it, or they take it the wrong way. To each their own. If I'm not saying it was right or wrong. You get to believe and see the world through your eyes. I'm not there with you to see the world through your eyes. Well, I'm still sorry that you feel that way, Gemma, that you have to mask in public for any type of event at all. Be yourself. You're gonna have those scars forever. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this morning's page two news. I want to thank everyone for being here this morning for page two news. If you would go ahead and give this a thumbs up, and for those who are watching, later on or in rewind, as some people call it, thank you. I appreciate it. And if you would leave a comment or give it a thumbs up when you watch it, Ben, I would appreciate it. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for trivia live here on YouTube every Sunday. It will be the 384th edition of True Crime Trivia tomorrow night. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. Same time every week. And it's 12 midnight in the UK, in case you're wondering. But anyways, everyone, I hope you'll have a great day today. Stay safe out there, and I will see you again soon. Bye.